All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're getting into the absolutely wild history of an operating system you've probably heard of, but might not know the full story behind, Unix. And let me tell you, this isn't some dry story about lines of code. Oh no, this is a story about ambition, rebellion, and straight-up corporate warfare.
So how does a single piece of software end up sparking a war that literally defines the digital world we live in? Well, the battle for Unix? It wasn't just a simple fight. We're talking about a conflict that spanned decades, pitting corporate giants against academic idealists with huge courtroom showdowns. And the craziest part? The outcome of that war is the very reason your phone and your computer work the way they do right now.
So, let's set the stage. How did we even get here? In the beginning, Unix was this beautiful, elegant, singular thing that came out of Bell Labs. But as it got more popular, something started to happen. It didn't just get bigger, it started to split. A huge fork in the road appeared, and that single decision point, well, it set the stage for all the chaos that was about to come.
And here it is, the two paths. On one side, you've got AT&T, its creator, and they're thinking, hey, we can make some serious money here. They wanted to license Unix, lock down the source code, and control everything. But on the other side, you had the University of California, Berkeley. They were coming from a totally different place, this open academic world. They built their own powerful, open version called BSD, the Berkeley Software Distribution. And the core problem? These two versions couldn't talk to each other. They were totally incompatible. For developers and users, it was a complete mess.
Now you might be thinking, okay, interesting history lesson, but what does that have to do with me? Well, you know that rebellious academic path that Berkeley took? The DNA of that BSD version, it's literally at the core of Apple's Mac OS, right now. So yeah, this huge fight from decades ago is probably sitting on the desk in front of you.
Okay, so this split, it wasn't just some friendly disagreement over a few lines of code. No, it exploded into what we now call the Great Unix Wars. And this was a battle fought on two totally different fronts, a real fight for the soul of computing.
So let's talk about battle number one, the war for a standard. Picture this. You've got all these different incompatible versions of Unix floating around. It's chaos. Everyone agrees, okay, we need one standard. But, and this is the big but, who gets to decide what that standard is? And, maybe more importantly, who gets to control it?
And just like any war, you had alliances forming. On one side, you had Team AT&T. They banded together with companies like Sun Microsystems to form a group called Unix International. Their goal? Make their proprietary Unix the one and only standard. But then, the other giants, we're talking IBM, HP, DEC, they were not having it. They formed their own army, the Open Software Foundation, or OSF. Their entire reason for existing was to break AT&T's stranglehold and create an open alternative. This was an all-out corporate brawl for control.
But you know, while all the suits were fighting it out in the boardrooms, a second, much uglier battle was about to kick off. The war was about to move from the marketplace to the courtroom, and this one was aimed right at the heart of that open, academic version of Unix.
And it all came to a head in 1992. AT&T's Unix division, called USL, straight up sued Berkeley. The accusation? That Berkeley's free BSD operating system was riddled with stolen, proprietary AT&T code. Berkeley fired back, saying, "No way, we painstakingly rewrote everything to get rid of your code." Suddenly, the very existence of a free, open Unix was on trial, and honestly, its future looked incredibly bleak.
So, you've got the Unix world completely locked in this nasty two-front war. It really looked like it was just going to tear itself apart. You have to ask, what could possibly be big enough, powerful enough, to make these bitter enemies stop fighting? Well, the answer came completely out of left field.
Yep, Microsoft. While all the Unix giants were busy trying to destroy each other, Microsoft quietly rolls out Windows NT. This was a brand new, powerful operating system aimed squarely at the same corporate market that Unix completely owned. All of a sudden, these warring factions looked up and realized they had a common enemy. And this wasn't just competition. This was an existential threat.
You know that old saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend? That's exactly what happened. The fear of Microsoft changed everything. The rivals scrambled to form a truce, creating this thing called the Common Open Software Environment. The two warring factions, USL and OSF, they actually ended up merging. And that huge lawsuit? Well, AT&T sold off its Unix business to Novell, who had a much more open mindset. They settled the case, and guess what? Berkeley pretty much won. Just like that, the wars were over.
But here's where the story gets really interesting. Because while all the big companies were busy fighting and then making up, something else was happening, kind of quietly, in the background. Two revolutionary ideas were starting to grow, born directly from all the frustration over the corporate greed and infighting.
And it all started with a radical question from a programmer named Richard Stallman. He was just disgusted by what AT&T was doing, locking down Unix, charging a ton of money for it. He had this different vision. What if software were free? And he didn't just mean free of charge. He meant free as in freedom. The freedom to share it, to study it, to change it for anyone. So Stallman went and started the GNU project, and the goal was frankly audacious. He wanted to build an entire operating system from scratch that would be just like Unix, but completely 100% free of any of AT&T's proprietary code. Even the name was this brilliant, rebellious statement. GNU stands for GNU's Not Unix. It's a fantastic programmer joke. So while the Unix wars are raging, Stallman and his crew are busy building all the essential tools you need for an OS, the compilers, the editors, the whole shebang. But they were missing one crucial piece, the very heart of the operating system, the kernel. And then, completely independently, in 1991, this 21-year-old student in Finland, Linus Torvalds, gets frustrated with his options and just decides, you know what, I'll write my own kernel. He called it Linux. And that was it. That was the magic moment. The two pieces came together. Stallman's free GNU tools, plus Torvalds' free Linux kernel, and boom, you have a complete, totally free operating system. And this combination, GNU/Linux, it is the absolute powerhouse that runs most of the internet. It runs the world's supercomputers. Oh, and it runs every single Android phone in your pocket. So, in a very real way, the rebels won. But you know, when you really look back at this whole saga, the biggest winner wasn't a company. It wasn't even Linux, as huge as that is. The most important thing to come out of the Unix wars, the thing that truly survived, was an idea. A really powerful, timeless philosophy for how you should build great software. And people knew this even before the wars started. I mean, when the creators of Unix won the Turing Award, which is basically the Nobel Prize for computing, the award wasn't just for the code itself. The citation specifically praised the high taste and the elegance of the core concepts behind it. And that elegance, that's what we call the Unix philosophy. So what is this philosophy? Well, it's a bunch of simple but really profound principles. The most famous one is, make each program do one thing well. Instead of building one massive, clunky application that does everything, you build a bunch of small, sharp, specialized tools. And you design them to connect to each other. It's like building with Legos. Each piece is simple, but you can connect them in endless ways to build something incredibly powerful. You use what's already there, you build prototypes fast, and you avoid complexity at all costs. It's a beautiful way to think about building things. And that, right there, is the true, lasting legacy. Forget the lawsuits, forget the corporate battles. It's this way of thinking, this deep appreciation for simplicity, for modularity, for elegance, that has influenced generations of programmers. It's a guiding light for how to build good software, and it completely outlasted all the drama. Which kind of leaves us with one last question to chew on. I mean, look around today. We live in a world of these massive, bloated, do-everything apps. So you have to wonder, in this age of ever-increasing complexity, is that old Unix philosophy of do one thing well more relevant than ever? Is it not just history, but maybe the answer we need right now?